What a year. You know, this Torah portion talks about creation. I don't know if you notice. When I read Torah, I translate it as I read. A couple reasons I think it makes it meaningful, number one, and number two, I can't chant trope like that. So, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth, and there was chaos and confusion. Boy, that sounds like a good description of this past year, doesn't it? And the Spirit of God, merachefet, which means to move very quickly and create a spark, merachefet, it moved very quickly and created this spark that created the heavens and the earth. Well, there's been a lot of sparks created, haven't there? Not just sparks of creation, but sparks of destruction this past year. What a year. Fires, riots, 75% of Jewish businesses in a certain area being destroyed, obscenities being tagged on synagogues, anti-Semitism in the greatest way in my lifetime. What a year. A virus that has its own ramifications physically and health-wise that has killed so many, and that has damaged even more without killing them, shutting down economies, creating radical disturbances in the world, stopping commerce, stopping prayer services. I would not have thought that I would have lived in a time where my state or my city, actually I'm not in Los Angeles, but would make an official statement saying don't gather for Rosh HaShana or Yom Kippur. I don't know how many of you know that, but that was said by Mayor Garcetti. I would not have thought that I would have needed to deal with whatever we needed to deal with. And this is such an amazing blessing. I mean, this is even so much better than any indoor location, I think, and spectacular. And it's been challenging, to say the least. I didn't expect that. I didn't expect I would live in a time when funerals can only have 10 people. I point over there because Holy Brother John works at Mount Sinai. Where people can't go back for Shiva Minyan. Where I do a funeral for a woman who's in her 70s and she has to go home and be alone after burying her husband of 50 years. I did not think I would ever live in that time. I did not think I would live in a time that would be so dark in so many ways for everyone in the world. I mean, not just Jews. It's been a really year. Right? It's been a messed up year. Dark year. Whether it's affected each of us individually or not, it has been a dark year in the world. But you know what? It was supposed to be. Now that's a pretty broad, arrogant statement. It was supposed to be, right? Except over 200 years ago, there's a rabbi called the Chasam Sofer. This is this great rabbi, one of the big shots in Europe of the time. It was roughly 1760s to 1820s, so a while ago. And he writes in his Torah commentary on Baruchatai on a certain Torah portion. He writes that this year, by the way, that we just finished was 5780. It was not 2020. You realize that? We all get that. We count things different. We read from right to left. We do a lot of things. Okay. And we've now in the year 5780. Very good. Clearly people educated outside a Zoom class. You laugh. My kids have gone from doing 8-hour a day in school to 3 hours a week during last spring when they were doing Zoom. I mean, now they're doing a little bit more, but so in 5780, according to the Chosam Sofer, in writings that you can find online, writings that he wrote over 200 years ago, he says 5780 is going to be the worst year in history. Based on the book of Daniel and based on a commentary in terms of the meaning of the letters, he says 5780 is going to be a bunch of words I'm not going to say again. Okay? So he predicts this great Kabbalist, this great mystic, this great teacher. He actually says this 200 years ago. I find that fascinating. It wasn't like in the 5780s or in the late, right? It was very specific. Does anyone else find that fascinating? Okay, good. I'm not alone. And by the way, this wasn't like a guy like Nostradamus who was making 1,000 prophecies. He happens to just say it in a Torah portion commentary on this one Torah portion. Pretty intense, huh? Want to hear what's more intense? He goes on. As bad as 5780 was, 5781 will be the best year and we will all be redeemed. In the same passage. Like the chaos and confusion that we just read about, before we can have the creation, we got to have the mess. Before a plant can be one of these trees, you got to have the seed break, right? You can't keep doing what you've been doing and thinking you're going to get another reaction, a different result. That's mashugana. That's crazy. This year has broken so many things. So many things this year has broken. Sadly, so many people. And it is through this breaking, the Sofer teaches, as do other rabbis after him, that this means this year we can now be born again. We can, maybe that's not a good phrase to use in a sanctuary, so let me rephrase that. But we can be renewed. We can have a new time, a new day. That this year will be that good. Now I said, if you had asked me years ago, I would not have believed any of these things that had to do, we did with this past year, right? So many things, so many horrible things, shocking. But you know what else? I would never have believed in my lifetime there would be a direct flight from Tel Aviv to Dubai. I never saw that coming. And I am willing to make some pretty decent bets that, given that they opened up their airspace, I actually am predicting, just personally, because it would be good PR, that either sometime between now and Yom Kippur, they're probably going to announce, I would hope, that we'll also have a peace treaty with Saudis. I think we will. But we have, with Bahrain and the UAE, whoever thought that was going to happen? That's amazing. I wouldn't have thought that I would be doing high holidays. I couldn't do them, wouldn't be allowed, and we'd have to keep having the space changed. But look where we are. And if the theme is a new birth, if the theme is the destruction and chaos, the tohu vavohu, the chaos and confusion of the past year, and now that this year, 5781, should be new birth, where better to experience that than with the birds in the sky, the trees in the field, and Bellagio spritzers all around you. Which, if you get hot, we can turn up higher, we can turn down. For those of you who were last night, spectacular lighting. It looked like the inside of a cafe. It was beautiful. So, yes, this chaos and confusion of 5780 has been so hard. But like we said last night, we're Jews. We go through it, and we are here. And in 5781, this new year, we are to receive and pray for and accept a new day, a new time. To accept joy. To accept, as the Chosam Sofer says, this is the year we're all redeemed. The world is redeemed. This is the year. This is all his prediction a couple hundred years ago. And if he's right on one, God willing, he's right on the other one, right? It's not, again, this is not just Nostradamus with 1,000 prayers. There are 1,000 prophecies. And so for my prayer for all of us as we enter this new year, is that we accept the blessings of joy and of New Year, of good health and of prosperity. My prayer for all of us is that we look around and we experience the newness, the new birth, just like we just read about in Bereshit. The newness of creation, the newness and beauty of all of life that we see especially here. What a great place to recognize this is the birthday, the birthplace of the world. And so my prayer for all of us is that we accept that, we embrace it, and we receive those blessings, and that, as we are taught, this year of 5781, for all of us, for all of Israel, and for all of the world, is blessed with newness and freshness, of joy and health, prosperity and love, and for all of us and all the world, the darkness changes, the chaos changes, and we become blessed, please God, with peace. Amen.
Birds gotta fly. You know how I feel. Sun in the sky. You know how I feel. Breeze drifting on by. You know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for me, and I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good. Fish in the sea, you know how I feel. River running free, you know how I feel. Blossom on a tree, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for me, and I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good. Dragonfly out in the sun, you know what I mean. Butterflies all having fun, you know what I mean. Sleep in peace when the day is done, that's what I mean. And this old world, it's a new world, it's a bold world for me. For me. Stars, when you shine, you know how I feel. Scent of the pines, you know how I feel. Freedom is mine, and I know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for me, and I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good. I feel so good on this lovely hillside in Moore Park, California, praying with my buddy Rabbi Michael Barclay for the congregants of this amazing congregation near Simcha on this fine Rosh HaShana and Shabbat day, custom made for us, bringing in 5781, the brand new day for this world. I feel so good. I feel so good. I'm feeling good. Ooh, yeah, yeah.